Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
Hello, Sarah. It's Jamie. How are you?
Good.
It is time. It is time again for our weekly coaching call. Are you ready for me?
Yeah, it's been kind of a hard week.
Really? What's been going on?
Just busy, and kids have been sick, and I just dropped one of them off to camp. It's the first time she's been gone. Just been a lot
Mm.
personally.
Is that hard for you when you do that?
Yeah, it's hard to be entrepreneur when you've got so much going on at home.
I know how much you love when your kids are home and when you're home, and how hard that is for working. Do you want to dive into your business?
Yeah, I need to. Yes, 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 yes. Got a lot going on.
So when we talked last week, we kind of ended our call discussing money, and obviously, that's why you're in business. You want to make money and put food on the table and continue to grow. I know that's really important to you. Um, we I want to dive in this week and really kind of talk about your budget. Does that sound good to you?
No, that doesn't sound fun at all,
It
Jamie.
doesn't. It doesn't sound fun to
No,
you?
it doesn't.
Yeah, you don't like talking about numbers?
I don't. I want to talk about coffee. I
Oh,
want to talk about a lot of things.
Sarah.
Do we have to?
Well,
Is this like a pre, do we have to? Is this part of the,
well, the only way we're going to grow is to talk about money. So, yep, we're going to do that today. Do you think we can get that done? We have 30 minutes. It's going to fly by.
okay, I believe you, but
So let's go back into. Do you have your GPS, your scorecard in front of you?
yes, I'm looking at it as we speak.
Okay, awesome. So we did not go. Oh, we did. Okay, perfect. So your homework was to fill out your goals and your
Yes.
goals versus actual. So did you go through and do that?
Um,
I'm pulling it up on
I
my.
did.
It looks
Yeah.
okay. Awesome. Yeah, it looks like coffee is obviously your biggest seller, and then you have some T-shirts, and you recently added smoothies to your menu.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Smoothies just did not fly like I thought.
Smoothies are not flying.
No, I just don't think it's worth the time and effort and all the fresh fruit you got to keep on hand. And, there's just with tropical smoothie and smoothie king, like people, when they think of coffee shops, that's not where they want to go for their smoothie is what I think.
So you think the competition is what's taking that business?
Yeah, when they say coffee shop, they're thinking like warm, cozy smell of coffee beans. I just, um, rare. Sometimes you have that person that comes in that doesn't like coffee at the coffee shop, but not enough to make it worthwhile, I think.
Okay. So, all right, let's dive in. Sarah, are you making money?
Yeah, we're making a little. I've started being able to pay myself a little, so that's good, right?
Where do you track it? Like, how do you know if you're making money or not?
Oh man, I don't like to. My manager kind of keeps up on that. My husband does a lot of that stuff. I'm kind of the creative. I want to, decorate the place and hire the right people. And so really, I think so. We're doing okay, but he says we are.
Okay. So, does he do all the books, or who takes care of that?
Well, I think he's got an accountant. He talks about taking the books over the accountant. So I think that's where he takes them over to.
Do you want to know where your numbers are?
I don't know. Sometimes I like to be in denial, just keep working. It's got to pay off. But yes, I joke, I need to know. Um, I've been so busy, with everything and the kids and what we've got going on. And we're trying to open up another store. We want to have, we talked about this, 3 more locations.
Right.
So probably I should be a little more in tune with what's going on to make sure we can even afford that. Right.
Yeah. Do you have meetings regularly with your husband? Who else did you say kind of does
Well,
that?
my manager, she keeps the books for the day and then gives them to my husband. And then I know he talks to the accountant, but, so really even though I don't want to, just like I didn't want to have this conversation.
Sometimes we have to do the hard things, right?
Yeah, this is the hard for me. I, I'm just in this conversation, I'm just feeling icky about not going with him to those appointments. And, I can't be like CEO mama but not know what's going on. I can't have it both ways. I get it.
What makes you feel icky about money conversations?
Um, it's just always been hard. It took a lot to open this, and I know we're doing okay. We're making a little money. I think it's just fear too. We put so much sweat equity and so much time into this brew house that, and I'm really proud of it, but I also just have that fear all the time of it not working or failing, so I think if I just keep myself busy enough, then, I can busy my way out of it. Right. Is that true?
Do you think it might help though to have kind of a grasp on where the numbers are, so you kind of get ahead of it? Because I know fear of failure is a big thing for you. We've talked about this in the past, but do you think maybe getting ahead and knowing will help you sleep better at night?
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, if you want to lose weight, you got to watch the scale. If you want your numbers to grow, you got to know. Yeah, I know. I've just chosen the denial route, but I'll talk to my husband tonight. We should have some time and see when our next appointment is and see how often we do meet with the accountant. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
check tonight.
And I think that's my other question too, is when you're running a business with your family and your husband, and that can be hard. You bring your business home with you, and it kind of interferes with dinner and all the other things you have going on in your life. So is there a time that you and your husband and your manager sit down and talk about your business with no other distractions?
No, we don't have a specific time
Okay. Do you
set
think it would
aside
help
for
if you did?
that. Oh yeah, that would be smart. And really, I mean, the coffee shop opens at 7 and we close at 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that would give us before we pick up the kids at 3:30, we could, between 2 and 3, maybe on Mondays or something, we could really time block that piece out, because you're right. I mean, once we get home, it's the last thing we want to talk about is coffee and business.
Coffee and business, right?
Yeah.
You're exhausted from the day, and you have to go home and mom and wear all your other hats.
Yeah.
So do you think in the next week you could sit down once and have a business meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
And
really
super
crazy that
stoked
we're
about it.
not, I mean, we always say we're too busy, but if this business is this important to us, then
Right.
it's ridiculous to be too busy for that. Right. So,
Yeah. And a lot of businesses don't make it till their 10th birthday. And a lot of times it's just because you haven't sat down and casted the vision with the right people and stayed on track and held yourself accountable.
right. Yeah.
So,
And we want to be the business that makes it. So,
mm-hmm.
yep. I'll talk to him tonight and we'll set up a weekly time to talk about it. And it may be a little disjointed here early. But it's just important.
It is. It's super important for you to, get to your goals. And we talked about, I'm trying to pull up your GPS here, that, you want to have $100,000 gross income, and you want to have new locations, and you have to hire new people. Like that's a lot you have coming your way. That's a very exciting and attainable, but do you think you have to have a grasp on the money in order to achieve those goals?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think I've just let my husband just, know all this kind of stuff. And, I'm the one that's looking at locations, and we've kind of divided and conquered, but we've got to do more together, on the same page.
Yeah. I don't want to see you give that up either.
Yeah.
Because you are the business, and without you, you're never going to have any new locations and growth, right?
Right.
Awesome. So and it's not going to take away from you being the visionary in this business. I think it would be super helpful for you to have a grasp on it.
Yeah.
So Sarah, where do you see this business going in the next 5 years?
Well, I really want to have the other 3 locations. I want this to be like everybody knows a brew house, and that we live in an area where there's a lot of college kids, and so, and that's what a lot of our business comes from, university kids. And so I think we have room for growth in our neck of the woods, and we've got a population of 300,000. So there's enough room for that. And so I just want this to be something that I can leave to my grandkids someday, if we do it right. So, yeah.
And do you know what money is needed to open those locations that you want to have in the next 5 years?
Well, it took us $50,000 to open up this one.
Okay.
So I'd say at least that.
Okay. And do you have that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
I
And
I don't know. I mean, my husband just keeps saying, we're fine, we're fine. Yeah, we're growing, but no, I can't just keep dreaming. I've got to get some details.
right. And you do have an accountant that that he works with.
Yeah, I've seen the bill come in. So I
Okay.
know we have one. So I should probably get to know her.
Have you seen a P&L? Do you know what P&L is?
Profit and loss, right?
Yeah. Have you seen one of those before?
Um, it comes through and I'm like, a lot of numbers. And I just kind of leave it for my husband's pile. So
Yeah.
I do know what it is, and I have seen it come through. I don't know how long it's been, but admittedly paid no attention to
Okay.
it.
Okay. Do you think it would help if you get a copy of it and we go over it together?
That sounds like a ton of fun, Jamie.
It does, right?
Let's just go over a P&L. Like, you're killing me. Am I paying you for this? Like, this is what we're doing? It's fun.
I know this is the boring stuff in business, but this is also the stuff that's going to pay your bills and put food on the table. So it is super.
Yeah.
I know. This is hard for you.
Yes. I let me talk to our accountant, and I'm sure that's something they can just email over, right?
Mm-hmm. They can just email it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And we can do one together, but I think there's some digging we need to do as far as, what your bank account looks like. And I mean, I know the number part bores you to death
It
based
does.
on, you're usually way more excited on our calls. Do you think that, I forget what I was just going to ask you. Something about numbers. What else can I ask you about numbers? Oh, do you know, totally lost my train of thought. Like what expenses you have within the one location you have right now? Like what expenses are fixed? Like what do you have to spend monthly no matter what?
And our biggest expense is our barista. I mean, we can't go without the barista, like if we don't have quality coffee. And second is the actual coffee itself, and all the things that go into it. But our biggest expense is our barista because he's really good.
You have a guy?
Yeah.
Love it. What do you pay him?
He gets paid, gosh, last time, I think when we hired him, I think he gets paid like $13 an hour.
Okay. Is that like the going rate for coffee shops?
Yeah, at least. I mean, it's something to where if we don't pay him well, he'll go somewhere else. It's like a chef at a restaurant, they know that they are needed and people expect it. So that's one of the biggest issues is like, how do we, replicate that? We've got to be able to afford another one. You can't be in two places at once. But if we don't have that, we don't have anything.
Okay. So your barista, what about manager? Do you have, how much do you pay?
Yes, we have a manager at this location and an assistant manager. Actually the barista gets paid more than our manager does, which sounds crazy, but the manager is, I think 12. I mean, it's close. But our barista knows like we have to have that barista. So, and we have an assistant that there are times whenever the head one's not there that Larry comes in. And then we have one part-time social media person that works from home. And then we have one high school kid employee that works like after school.
Okay. Now, do you pay rent for the building you're in?
No, we own it. It was actually a building that my family already had. And so, yeah, that worked out really well.
Okay. Do you take a paycheck yourself or like through payroll? How do you get paid?
I have a couple of businesses, so I don't pay too much attention to it. But my husband said the other day, we're finally able to pay ourselves. So I don't know what exactly that means, but that sounds like good news, right?
I mean, are you excited to find out? And you're next meeting with him?
Yeah. I mean, I realize that finding out these details are actually like powerful, to know how our business is doing is going to be beneficial to me. I get that. It gets bumped to the bottom of my list, just like anything else that's not fun. People that do this that think it's fun, I don't get it.
What is your relationship with money? Like, what is that like for you?
I've always just had to work really hard for it. My parents were educators, so money was always tight and it was always an issue in our house. So I swore we wouldn't live that way, with my own children. So we've just always been business owners and worked a lot, but we've, created a pretty good life for ourselves. So I'm really proud of that. But it's just something I think in the back of my mind, I'm always concerned about my kids growing up that same way. And I don't want them to ever have to feel that way.
So what does that mean, living a good life for you? Like in terms of what your finances look like?
We don't need, a mansion up on a hill or, planes, our own jet planes. I want my kids to be able to, I want to enjoy prom dress shopping with my daughters. I want, if my kids need braces, then I just go pay for braces. I don't want to have like, can my kid afford braces? Can we afford that kind of stuff? And that kind of stuff wasn't fun. That was always really stressful. I have distinct memories of that growing up. So it's more about just affording those things, those experiences, just that I feel like are pretty normal experiences, that I want my kids to be able to do. I want to have a sturdy savings account. I want the college funds set up to where they can just pick the college they want to go to. Like, college was not fun for me. And if that's the route they want to go, I want them to have that option. So
do you have that set up yet?
We met with our advisor. He's gone a couple of times since then. So that's another thing I really did check into, because here I want all these things, but I haven't really, he says that he got it started, but if here I'm not even paying close attention, I need to make sure. So add that to my list, Jamie.
So
check with financial advisor.
Do you think I know we're talking about your business and we want your business to grow, and money is just super important when it comes to that. If we're going to grow and have these new locations, we have to have a grasp on it, right?
Right.
But there are also other things important to you in your life, like your kids and college funds and having the means to live not a lavish or extravagant life, but a good life. Right. And do you think it would, be helpful to have a second meeting with your husband, just the two of you, to talk about family finances?
Probably two separate meetings, you're saying, one business meeting for the business and one business meeting for the home.
Yep, because then they're completely separate and you can start to have a grasp on it.
Yeah.
And there's so many unexpected things that can happen in life that do you think would be helpful for you to have a grasp of if the inevitable was to happen? In many things. It could be business, it could be divorce, it could be a sick loved one. I mean, do you think it would be helpful for you to know all of this prior to something happening?
Yes, Jamie, it would. You're so right. Hope you're happy.
I know how much you love money talk, Sarah. I'm telling you, this is
yes. I mean, for you. Yes, it is important. And gosh, the stats are not working for my husband, right? Like, what are the stats? Like, typically men die before the women. So I do need to know about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, women have been outliving men.
And I think I'm a workhorse. So I think I just default to, I'll just work more and that will take care of everything. Right. And so that's crazy.
Is your vision for your life, Sarah, completely unrelated to your money?
No, I mean, my vision is time freedom with my kids and really my grandkids. Like, I'm doing a lot. I said I make a lot of decisions for my grandkids. I want to create a life where I can be that grandma that can spoil my grandkids and to have those fun experiences with my family. And so all of that is tied to money and security.
Mm-hmm. And you need money in order to do those things.
I do, Jamie. I do.
So what's your immediate association right now with the thought of money?
I think when you say that word, it kind of gives me like, ugh, it stresses me. You said it. You can feel the tone of my voice.
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable working than I am talking about money. Is that crazy?
But what are you working for?
To make more money.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, Sarah, I want to turn around your love for this, and then you don't have to love it, but I think having it be important.
Yeah.
You?
Do you think it's one of those things where knowledge is power? Like once I really dig in, just like I don't want to go to the gym tomorrow either, Jamie, but I need to, right? So, but once I go to the gym, then I'm glad I did. Is this what's going to happen?
Sarah, I think once you get a grasp on it, you're going to have a new kind of fuel lit under you and realize that you're doing amazing things and your business is growing. And once you have a grasp on that, you're going to be excited to continue doing the work you're doing and maybe know what to tweak a little bit. Does that make sense?
Right.
Because I mean, we talked about this and we really honed in on what your goals are, and you want to open these new locations and continue to serve the best coffee in wherever the heck you live. And you want to hire new people and continue to just grow and be better, but understanding the financial aspect of it is what's going to help you get you there.
Right.
Um,
Well, I think it's just one of those things where, suddenly it's at a point where, which is probably why I ended up hiring you. I knew you'd bring this up. I knew I needed to do this. If I'm being honest with myself, you start this business and you work and you work and you work and you work. And then suddenly you're out of, we have these goals and dreams. And I think that it's possible, but now I've really got to hone in, I've got to tighten the screws. And, it's like you raise your kids and you feed them with a spoon, you help them pull up their pants, and suddenly you're like, whoa, they can do it on their own. There's just a day where you're like, yikes, I really need to know what's going on here. No more just, sprinting blindly.
Right. I mean, do you know what is the business in any kind of debt?
I don't think so, because of the building that, we already had that helped immensely. I think we had saved and were able to, I don't think so, but I need to check to make sure, but I don't think so.
Do you know who other than your husband has access to the business finances? Is there anybody else?
Just the accountant.
Okay. Have you ever sat down with your husband and gone over a company budget?
No, he tries, and I tell him no, thank you. So that's probably not kind either, right? Are you a marriage counselor too, Jamie?
Say that again.
Are you a marriage counselor too? You going to help me through this?
Probably should be. I mean, I see how much you do not like talking about this.
Now do you feel his pain when he wants to talk about this?
Right. I think we're going to turn this around for you, and you're going to.
I believe you.
Next week, we're going to have a whole nother thing to talk about regarding the budget.
Okay, so this week, what's my goal? What am I doing?
I know this is boring, but once you have, like, knowledge is power, you're right. Once you have these documents and we can kind of dissect them and you realize it's not this big scary beast that you once thought it was,
right?
You're going to be excited and motivated. So we talked, you're going to have a meeting with your husband, and with or without the manager, probably with the manager of your one location. Is that something you want to do in the next week?
Yes.
Okay. And then a one-on-one meeting with just your husband to talk about your family finances and where you stand.
Yes.
Okay. What day you're going to plan it between 2 and 3? Which afternoon?
I think Monday's a good day.
Okay. So when we hang up this call, you can set that up?
Yes.
Okay. And then you can have this conversation with your husband, but I think getting these documents from the accountant are huge. Do you have a list? I can give you a list of what to ask for.
Yeah, I'm writing it down.
Okay. A P&L.
Okay.
I know that excites you.
It does. I am excited. Can you tell by the tone of my voice?
I can tell. I can feel it through the phone. I also would love to see a budget sheet
Okay.
and a balance sheet.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Does that sound like something you can get in the before
Yeah.
next time we talk, so we can go over it?
Do I get a prize if I do that?
Oh, I'll think of something really good. You're going to get a prize when your business grows even bigger and you get to hit all your goals.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I believe you.
Do you still want to keep me as your coach?
Yes, Jamie, I love you anyway. I say in the back of my mind, I knew this was coming. I knew this was part of the deal. I know I needed it probably more than any other thing we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that thing where you're like, ugh. It's like when you go to your trainer and you know they're going to put you on the scale. You're like, okay, yep, here we go. So I know this is important. And if I want to do my my goals that I have, I have to do this. I get it. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you pushing me. It's hard. I know I'm not fun with this category.
No, I mean, can I share something personal real quick?
Sure.
I think from the woman in me, having gone through a divorce and not having control over my money, I don't want to see that for you.
Right.
So grasping a hold of something that is in front of you and all you have to do is learn it and just get the numbers and be aware of it, because you just never know what could happen. I mean, there's lots of other questions surrounding it, but
right,
that are super important.
It's foolish, right? It's foolish, if we're honest. I mean, you didn't say it, I did. But yeah.
No, I didn't know. It's just you're busy, you're working, you're wearing lots of hats, you have a lot of things going on. But you want to protect your kids, right?
Right.
And I want that for you. So we have about 2 minutes left in our call. I mean, that flew by.
It did.
And I know how much you love talking about money. Is there anything specific surrounding kind of money in your business or even in your life that we can chat about that you want me to ask you?
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed. And really none of this stuff is hard, but it's just psychologically hard. So, I mean,
which part do you feel overwhelmed with?
Well, I just know I'm kind of like taking that step into like understanding all this, which makes me feel like I've got one more giant piece of responsibility that I just have not taken on in the past. So I think this overwhelms me with that too, because I'm like, I already feel like I'm working and I'm managing and I'm, doing so much work on the restaurant or on the coffee shop that this is now adding one more giant thing to my plate. So I know it's important, but that's how I feel, if I'm honest.
No, and I want you to be honest. So how could we, and being overwhelmed, I heard this before and it's so true. Being overwhelmed is a choice, right? The things that we overwhelm ourselves with can sometimes be delegated. How can we take the budget aspect of your business into bite-sized pieces so you don't feel overwhelmed going into the next week?
Well, what we have down to do between now and next week, that will not take a whole lot of time.
Okay.
Like if I think about that. Mm-hmm. And maybe next week we can talk about delegation a little bit, because I mean, as I'm saying it, like I do have a manager and I do have a barista. So maybe I don't have to be there as much as I am there. I don't even want to say it out loud, but maybe I'm doing too much that I don't have to be doing. So,
and maybe by doing that, I can free up time for you to learn about this.
Yeah.
And
yes,
seems big and scary, but I think when you do it in bite size, a little bit at a time, you're going to be further along next week than you are right now.
Yeah.
And it may put your mind at ease a little bit.
Yep. We can do this.
You are successful and you are amazing and you are doing great things.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it. So is this little icing on top after the budget call we just had?
It is. This is the icing on the cake. You already ate your vegetables. You deserve some icing.
Thank you.
So you feel comfortable with the homework for next week? I
do. I'm gonna set up a time, a business time with the hubby for home and for business.
Okay.
And then I'm going to get the P&L, budget, and balance sheet from our tax girl, and I'm going to find out who exactly that is.
Okay.
So,
I love it. And you're going to answer when I call next week?
yes, Jamie, I love you enough. It's a good thing you didn't do budget first, because this might not have worked, you know. Yeah.
I know. People's least favorite topic is budget, but once we dive into it, I'm not going to say it's fun, but it's exciting once you realize how much money you can start to be making if you're not already.
I get it. Thank you for pushing me. I appreciate you.
All right. I've got you, girl. We'll talk next week.
All right. Sounds good. See you, Jamie.
All right. Bye.